So, like most people, when it comes to New Year's, you're thinking it's going to be the time you relax. You went out and had fun last night, and then you going to relax the following day. You know, if you went out partying and drinking, you're going to do that. If you have any special traditions, you're going to follow that. Any particular meals, things of that nature. But I was very surprised this morning when you see two things going on. What happened downtown Bourbon Street, and then the other thing outside Trump Tower. Now, I'm not going to really touch on the Trump Tower thing today because there's not a lot of information on that. But I will say, when it comes to Trump, he does have a lot of unfortunate luck when it comes to things happening to him. It's kind of weird. But let's start with the FBI statement. Let me go ahead and take myself off right quick. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and make a comment too. Okay, so this is pulled from the FBI website. I pulled it about a couple hours ago. Let's see, today at approximately 3:15 a.m. Central Time, an individual drove a pickup truck into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, killing at least 10 and injuring dozens others. After hitting the crowd, he exited the vehicle and fired upon local enforcement. Law enforcement returned fire and the subject was pronounced deceased at the scene. 2 law enforcement officers were injured and transported to a local hospital. The subject has been identified as 42-year-old Shamsud-Din Jabbar, a U.S. citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck, which appears to have been rented, and we are now working to confirm how the subject came in possession of the vehicle. An ISIS flag was located on the vehicle, and the FBI is working to determine the subject's potential association and affiliations with the terrorist group or organization. Weapons and potential IEDs were located in the subject vehicle. Other potential IEDs were located in the French Quarter. The FBI Special Agent Bomb Technician are working with our law enforcement agent partners to determine if any of these devices were available, and they will work to render those devices. The FBI is a leading investigating agency, and we will work with our partners to investigate this act of terror. We are aggressively running out all leads to identify any possible associations to the subject. Now, let me get myself back on there. Now, with that being said, that is surprising because initially they didn't want to call it that kind of attack. Initially, they wanted to say that they didn't know what happened. They thought it was just a random road person. However, when it comes to Luigi, they automatically call him a terror right away. And he just did it to one rich guy who was a part of the insurance company. This man right here did it to multiple people. Multiple lives were lost and injured, and you never know the extent of the injuries because you could be at the scene injured and then have life-changing, altering, or even pass on later on. And that truck was going pretty fast. So let's go ahead and see what the media had to say about this first and foremost. And if you look in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to put the video up there. So.
Not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not.
Last night we had over 300 officers out here, and because of the intentional mindset of this perpetrator who went around our barricades in order to conduct this, he was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did.
After me, however, I have been in direct contact with the White House, with Governor Landry, and of course a unified command who is present here. What I'm asking at this time are prayers for those who have lost their lives in the city of New Orleans due to this tragedy. In addition to that, I'm asking the public to stay clear of 8 blocks around Bourbon Street.
Not a terrorist.
Now, They didn't want to call it that at first, but eventually they put a statement out earlier saying that it is that kind of attack. And I can understand why they didn't want to say it was a terror attack at first. Mainly being, you have a bunch of people who just got injured, hurt, lost their lives, so they don't want a mass panic. I can understand that, right? However, though, you can't say stuff like that in 2025 compared to you could do stuff like that back in 2005, 20 years ago. Everybody has high-speed smartphone internet access, and truthfully, if it wasn't for the internet, mainly Twitter probably, we wouldn't know the details. We wouldn't have saw the flag on the back of the truck, which is the ISIS flag, that we wouldn't have seen him put down. I mean, all that is on Twitter right now. Twitter has more updates about this man than the news network has put out, which goes to show that, the internet, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, etc., they are the new news media when it comes to getting people information fast and in a hurry. And a lot of the times in censored, there's not a bias. I mean, most of the time, those news sites is going to be, they got to censor because they got people they're going to answer to. And a lot of those people have a political agenda. But that's neither here or there right now. So who is this man? Let's go ahead and hear his own words of who he is.
Good evening. I'm Shamsud-Din Jabbar, property manager with Blue Meadow Properties and team lead at the Midas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist, where I learned the meaning of great service and what it means to be responsive and take everything seriously, dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that things go off without a hitch. So I've taken those skills and applied them to my career as a real estate agent, where I feel like what really sets me apart from other agents is my ability to be able to, one, be a fierce negotiator. So not only do I brilliantly market your property to make sure it gets sold as quickly as possible or gets leased as quickly as possible.
All right, so the rest of that really doesn't matter right now, but that's what he was before, a real estate man. However, I'm going to bring us information. Let's play this at the beginning one more time right quick.
But I'm also going to take every ounce of energy and put it in. Good evening. I'm Shamsud-Din Jabbar, property manager with Blue Meadow Properties and team lead at the Midas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston.
So when they hear his name, they're going to stop there, right? They're not going to really care about he was born and raised in Houston, Texas. And speaking of that area, there are plenty of reports now saying that people in Houston are asking not to go up to North Houston or the upper part of Houston. So don't know what's going on right there. Apparently he had an accomplice that was going to do some other activities. Don't know for sure. But let's see here. We already looked at that. My question is, they're still not being 100% transparent about this man. For one, his real estate license expired. It expired in February 2023. So almost 2 years ago. And there's even more stuff in his LinkedIn. Like he really has, I'm not saying you gotta update your LinkedIn all the time, but normally for networking and things like that, you want to keep that kind of updated and current. So my question is, what was he doing from February until now? Who was he associated with? Because it's very weird for a man who was born and raised in America, in Houston, Texas, or the Texas area, who is a military man, and Texas is a big military state. A lot of Army bases there. How is it that he got infiltrated and then go to the other side? Because let's be real here, ISIS has been a thought in a very long time. But now all of a sudden, this attack happens for a man who's military trained, who's apparently somewhat educated, and does not fit the description of a typical America, because let's be real here. Let's be really honest for a second. When this first came out this morning, most people was like, please don't let him be white. Please don't let him be black. That's the one common thing that most Americans felt in this moment, is that we didn't want it to be one of the, they just didn't want to be one of the groups that are local to here for the most part. I guess that's the best way to say it. Because think about it for a second. If it was a white person, we already got the shooter that already tried to take off Trump. You have the January 6th thing, which again was majority of Trump supporters. And then, you know, when it comes to the black people, we have our own issues. Same thing with Hispanics. It could be, you know, one of those things is seen as an illegal immigrant coming in. So it's just a lot going on there to where people just didn't want to be one of the groups that already have our own problems. So I hate to say it, there was a sense of relief when you hear Shamsud-Din Jabbar, and you're just like, oh, okay. But he is an American. He was born and raised here according to him. Now, there has been no reports of his family upbringing or background, things of that nature, so we don't know that, right? But it's just really sad that this is happening again. I remember last year, January 2024, it started off kind of crazy. And I remember, you know, the judge got jumped at and Cat Williams had that thing going on. But now, the year starting off with a potential return of ISIS, where America is struggling to come together because they're not in support of Trump and Elon, and there's so many in-house fighting right now that this almost seems, to a lot of people, I'm not saying it is, a lot of people saying this seems kind of staged. Some people are saying there's some MK Ultra stuff, which I was very surprised. I haven't heard about that in a very long time. They're saying that it's fake, but if you go on Twitter, you can definitely see a lot of graphic stuff on there that shows it's not fake. But I don't know. It's the first day of the year. We already got this craziness going on. And it happened like 3 a.m. So we wasn't even a full 12 hours into 2025 when this happened. I don't know, man. But it is suspicious. I would like to know where he was, what he was doing for the the last almost 2 years. Because his real estate license expired in February 2023. So what was he doing? Where was he at? Did he go make a trip overseas and that's how he got converted? Why would a military man do that? I mean, he's a proud military man because he brought that up in the video I showed earlier. I don't know. I just don't know. I keep looking for new stuff to come out. And let's talk about the Trump thing for a second and his tower being blown up by a Cybertruck, or it exploded outside with a Cybertruck. A lot of people are saying that a lithium battery couldn't make that large of explosion, but I don't know, because if I remember correctly, I thought the whole entire bottom of a Cybertruck was pretty much a battery. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you ever threw this like a regular cell phone battery in a fire, that thing will light up pretty high and fast. So it wouldn't surprise me if that happened. The only thing I have an issue with is, though, you have no other reports Cybertrucks doing that before. And again, there's a lot of in-house fighting between Trump supporters, well, not Trump supporters, MAGA supporters, and how they view Trump right now, because they feel like Elon is controlling him. So I feel like that was more of a message for both Elon and Trump. The only thing about that is, though, well, a lot of people fail to realize that Elon has the majority of your dirtiest secrets. Just think about it for a second. I made a video a while back talking about how Twitter, after he took it over, is not the same place. It's pretty much a disgusting place. It's pretty much the Wild West now. They take free speech to a new level, and they post things that I don't even think is legal in a lot of places now. So, with that being said, what's the most powerful thing you can have? It's not, a pew pew. It's not a bomb. It's none of those things. It's information. And it's to think about how much information and data that will be very embarrassing to the average person that they're searching on Twitter. Just imagine, I can still think back, people losing jobs 3-4 years ago from old tweets from like 10 years ago. The first example that comes to my head is when, if you remember the show The Flash, the guy that used to stretch out a lot, I can't think of his name. He had a tweet that was considered, not friendly to certain groups. And because of that, he ended up getting written off on The Flash. You have old tweets that came up for Amanda Bynes that's implicating the guy from, what was that HBO series, Quiet on Set? So the information that was old Twitter. That was safe Twitter. We're talking about Elon Musk Twitter. And you honestly think he doesn't have the data of everybody who has used that website, whether they use a dummy account or not? You honestly don't think he has it to where he can see what you're browsing for, what you're searching for? There's a reason why he wanted a large media social platform. Everything he's done is pretty strategic to control people. Now, I'm not saying that he will sit here and go around blackmailing, but I mean, if he has control of, I think his job is government efficiency, to let people go, hire them on, and people who have power, they don't always wield that power properly. If you get on his bad side bad enough, I'm pretty sure he could pull some strings. So think about it for a second. He already had accounts banned and blue check marks taken away and demonetized as an extra source of revenue for people who talked against him. And Trump hasn't even taken office yet. He hasn't even taken office yet. I don't know. I'm just pretty much rambling and talking at this point. But I will say that it's pretty, nothing surprises me that everything has happened in the last 4 years. Ever since, the shutdown of the United States happened, nothing really surprises me of what goes on. But what I can say is, though, I'm a little worried. And the only reason I'm a little worried is because the government treats us like we're slow. But then we keep proving how smart we are to the government. So it's kind of makes you think, what else are they going to try to escalate with? Like, I mean, this whole entire thing with the drones and the orbs. And the majority of the, not necessarily drones are seen all over the place, but the orbs were mainly only seen in the United States near our nuclear plants. And I thought that was so weird. I mean, it's a big world, but only the United States? I don't know. Trump has been attempted assassination attempt. He had two. One that's supposedly in Grace is here. Another where there was like a backpack before he was getting ready to give a speech. And if you want to count this Cybertruck thing again, because it's more just a message, but it's just, you haven't seen people just bold against somebody they don't like in a very long time. All right. It's getting to the point, I think, when Trump does take office, he probably shouldn't go out in public and give a speech anymore. Maybe he just do all the speeches in the secret bunker in the White House, or the underground bunker in the White House. I'm pretty sure they got something there. Because his love and respect by his people is dwindling down every day, day by day. And a president that's not respected, or a man and that's not respected in general, he's going to lose everything he loves. And for Trump, that's going to be his money and power. Well, anyways, I'm pretty much done talking, but you guys tell me what you think. Just to recap, you know, we see the video of what happened. The clip I showed in the top left-hand corner or right-hand corner didn't really show the incident, but him just driving crazy. What made him do this? A military man who is pretty much well educated, working in real estate, which is good money for the most part. What would make him go to ISIS? That just doesn't make any sense to me. So what would you do in that situation? I'm just kind of curious if you're still watching. If you was in that situation in New Orleans, what would you do? Would you try to help? Would you try to be a hero? I'm just kind of curious, what would you do? And I wonder how many people actually knew about this. Because again, at first, I remember when this first came out, they were saying that somebody came through Mexico to Texas, then to New Orleans to do something like this. Then they said it was not a terror incident, which I showed that clip. And then they switched it to where it's just like, okay, well, it is working in enforcement. And then the FBI put out a statement. Because I guess they just figured they couldn't hide the information anymore because the internet is too fast. Because if you go to Twitter, you can see the flag. You can see him on the ground. You can see people getting ran over. It's brutal. You don't see the pow confrontation though. I didn't see that, but I'm pretty sure it'll be up there eventually. Anyways, yeah, I've been talking for too long. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a great day.